Welcome back, everybody, to my channel. Welcome back to another review of The Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm going to be combining episodes 6 and 7. And of course, I really want to get to the nitty gritty of these two episodes. So episode 6 starts off with where it left off in episode 5. It was the first night at Monique's lake house. The girls were having dinner, and Wendy and Ashley are going at it because of the argument that started in the kitchen earlier on that day, where Wendy was having an issue with Ashley bringing her baby. And then so that argument, resurrected itself at the dinner table. They were going at it really hard. Ashley saying, go with the wind, Wendy. And Wendy calling Ashley broker than broke, or broke twice or whatever, because saying that she was broke and her booty hole was broke because Ashley's anal region is still torn. So they're going back and forth with that, and that kind of just ends on a really bad note. The next day they go fishing. All the girls go fishing. Some girls go fishing in the canoe, some girls go fishing from the dock. Ashley and Wendy decided to go fishing on the dock, and they decided to go ahead and kiss and make up, which was wonderful. And I think it had a lot to do with Giselle talking to Wendy beforehand, because before all of that, before they went fishing, Giselle and Wendy had gone for a walk. And Giselle did a good thing by telling Wendy that her anger was misplaced, or it was over the top, because Giselle made a point by saying that Wendy and Ashley, don't have any kind of bad blood between them. So where was all this animosity and anger coming from? So Giselle was saying maybe your anger was misplaced on Ashley, and it should have been directed to Karen, because Karen's the one that's real shady with you. She's the one that's always talking about you. She devalues your education, all your degrees. She calls you a freelancer. So I don't know if that's the truth. Her anger was misplaced. Her anger was over the top. I don't think Ashley was really her intended victim, but I don't know if it really was Karen. I don't know. But anyway, so when they go fishing later on that day, on day 2, Ashley and Wendy talk it out. They had a really good, deep, heartfelt conversation, and it was just so nice. I always feel so warm and fuzzy inside when two people who are arguing and bickering and have a lot of bad blood between them, when they finally are able to put everything aside and come together. It might be short-lived. They might be back at it again, next week, but it just made me feel so good to see Wendy and Ashley, make up. Okay, so moving on from that. So, later on that day, that same day, day 2, they were all going to go out to dinner. And before they left for dinner, is this right? Before they left for dinner, this is where, I'm getting my episodes mixed up. Let me make sure this is right. Okay, there's a lot of this stuff I don't care about. I didn't care about okay. Oh, one more thing that I want to mention. After they went fishing, they gather around the pool at some point, and Ashley is with Baby Dean, and then I think Baby Dean got fussy, so she got up and left with him. And Candace says to the rest of the girls, I think it was Giselle, and it was Karen, and it was Robin and Wendy. She tells the rest of the girls, when I become a mother, I want to be a mother more like you. And I kind of thought it was throwing a dig at Ashley and Ashley's, mothering, because, why would you say that? These women, and maybe not so much Wendy because her kids are pretty small, but even Wendy was struggling with having her baby not with her, being away from her baby. But Candace was saying that Ashley, it seems like, Ashley is struggling, and, the rest of the girls kind of seem like they all have it together. Well, yeah, their kids are practically grown. Robin, her kids are upper elementary, maybe junior high. And Giselle, her kids are teenagers. And so, yeah, you would think that 10, 15, 16 years later, you kind of have a hang of things. So I thought it was a dig at Ashley. Ashley's a brand new mom. Her baby's 3 months old. Of course, she's kind of struggling with it all. She's going through postpartum. Her hormones are out of whack. She's going through these issues with her husband. Come on, Candace. So when she was like, "I want to be, a mother more like y'all than Ashley because Ashley's struggling," I thought that was a serious dig at Ashley. I don't care about the pageant, whatever. Now, Monique is hosting all of this at her lake house, but she kind of had like no plans or activities for the girls. I don't know how people do it, who are living like that. But I would think that if you're going to invite a whole bunch of people over to your lake house, you're going to be doing more than, going out for crabs and s'mores. But the girls were obviously kind of bored, and so they tried to create these games and whatever. That was cute. So later on that day, before they went out to dinner, as they're all getting ready, Candace gets a text message from a friend who basically tells her that Michael, Ashley's husband, was out and about at a strip club, and he was around a whole bunch of strippers. He was asking different strippers, I guess, to go back to the hotel room with him. And he was also telling people that he had a wife and a boyfriend. And it wasn't because Candace has a friend who works at the strip club as a bartender. So this friend of a friend was able to get a picture of Michael and sent it to Candace's friend, who then sent it to Candace. And so when she saw all of this, she immediately went to Giselle and she was like, "Oh my God, Giselle, I need to talk to you." And so she shows the pictures and the text messages to Giselle. Giselle reads everything. And Giselle decides that, we're going to have to tell Ashley. So they go out to dinner, and my heart just breaks for Ashley because she's so sweet, and she just keeps getting hit time and time again. But anyways, so they go out to dinner, and while they're at dinner, it's kind of difficult to watch because that there's this information that is out there about Ashley's husband. And it seems like at this point, before Giselle and Candace reveal it to her, that Ashley has no idea. So us as the viewer, we know what's brewing. Giselle and Candace know what's brewing. And, Ashley is just kind of like sort of, I don't know, you just like, that her world is about to crumble again, and you're watching the minutes that are leading up to it, and it's just really hard to watch, and it's really sad. So, but at the same time, I will say this, it kind of seemed like to me Ashley probably kind of knew what was like. Well, she was kind of like, she just seemed really uneasy. She seemed tense a little bit. So I didn't know if it was because of the baby blues and, the postpartum and all of that and being away from the baby. I don't know if it was that, or if she really kind of like had an inclination, or she kind of got wind of what was about to go down. So that's where episode 6 ended, at the dinner where Giselle and Candace are about to reveal it to Ashley. Episode 7 starts off where episode 6 left off, at the dinner. And I kind of thought that they were going to tell her at the dinner table, but they didn't. So Giselle made the decision that they were going to tell her in private. So after dinner, they go back to the lake house. Monique plans to have, she fires up the fire pit in the back, and they were all going to have s'mores. So Giselle is trying to tell Monique, we kind of, me and Candace and Ashley, we've got something planned, making Monique feel like that they wanted to talk in private. Her, Candace, and Ashley needed to talk in private because they were planning something for Monique's birthday. That's what she was trying to allude to. So she tries to send Monique back out into the back so she can have this private conversation with the other two girls. But Monique keeps on going in and out because she wants to know what the hell's going on. I'm trying to get everybody together for some s'mores in the back, and y'all are all holed up inside in here, and I'm not even a part of it. And, my house, and I'm the host, and y'all are trying to kick me out of what's going on. So finally, they're able to get her back out there, and they sit down with Ashley, and they basically tell her, basically it's Giselle. I didn't understand why Giselle had to take over. I thought maybe it would have been Candace who would have broken the news to Ashley, but whatever. So Giselle is telling Ashley, okay, so, Candace got some news, and a friend of a friend saw your husband at a strip club, and he was around a whole bunch of strippers, and he was trying to get he was trying to get one of them to go back to a hotel room with him, and he was telling people that he had a husband, he had a wife and a boyfriend. So Candace gives her the phone so she can see for herself. So she's reading all of this, and she kind of like takes it in stride. I kind of think that Giselle and Candace were hoping for some type of a bigger reaction, but Ashley kind of was like, okay, yeah, I hear you, and is your source really credible? And Candace reassured her that her source was very credible, and Ashley was like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this. We've been struggling in our marriage. When I was pregnant, he was going to the strip clubs, and it was really hurtful. So I talked to him about it, and he assured me that he was gonna stop going, and so that really hasn't stopped. And so she's like, we're gonna deal with it. And so it was very, it was like an uneventful type of situation. For 2 episodes, they're building up to this moment, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, so I'll talk to him. I'm glad that she did that. I'm glad that she didn't go into like, instant denial, and I'm glad that she didn't like have a complete breakdown. So she kind of took it in stride because she's trying to play her cards right, because you really don't know. I mean, people could be setting you up, people could be lying, you really don't know. So she's gonna walk that fine line. Okay, so where are we at here? So they asked Ashley, okay, so do you and your husband, actually have conversations about this? Do you ask him, direct questions or indirect questions about what's really going on with him? And she was like, I do more than ask questions. She says, I read emails, I look at phones, I read text messages, I sniff underwear. Ugh. And so she's like, she's trying to make it seem like she's really on it. She's really, keeping her eyes and her ears open, because she knows the kind of habits that her husband has. Okay, so then after all of that, everybody goes to bed, and except for Karen, Candace, Wendy, and Monique. Karen, Candace, wait, is that right? Okay, it was Wendy, and it was Karen, and it was Candace, and it was Monique. So they're all, taking shots all night long. Karen gets drunk out of her mind, says a whole bunch of drunk stuff. And I don't remember what she said. She said something about her and Ray. I forgot what she said. Oh, she did say that in her drunken state. She did talk about how she had to use half of her money to dig Ray out of his tax problems, because he was going through some major financial problems last season. And so she had to use a lot of her money to help him get out of that. And then Karen asked Monique and Candace if they were good, and what was really going on there. And Monique was like, I'm not really trying to have like a really deep discussion right now. I'm just trying to relax and chill. So day 3 starts. So day 3 is a day that all the husbands were going to come over. By the way, on day 2, Monique had called her husband Chris, and the plan was that the guys were going to barbecue when they came. When all the husbands showed up, they were all going to barbecue. Well, for whatever reason, Chris didn't feel like barbecue and didn't want to barbecue. So he's told Monique that he just wanted to have it catered. And that kind of rubbed Monique the wrong way, but she said that she was going to choose her battles wisely and not make a big deal about it. But, it's going to be in the back of her mind. She's going to lock it away in her little secret vault. But I was like, what's the big deal if they barbecue or if it's catered? I don't understand what the big deal is. But it kind of bothered Monique that it was going to be catered. I don't know if she kind of was like, well, he's not going to put as much time into my whole birthday celebration. He's just going to order some food. I don't know. So day 3, Giselle has to leave early because she has a book award. And she ends up winning the award, of course, because how else are you going to get Giselle to appear at an event? And I'm pretty sure the people that organized the book award ceremony, or whatever ceremony that it was, were going to make sure that she won, to make sure that she showed up to get publicity for, I think it was the African American Awards in Literature. So, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. So Giselle leaves to go do that. And there was a scene where, because T'Challa, Monique's bird, I think she said it's her emotional support bird, so the bird is always with her. She actually put that bird on the toilet, and it pooped in the toilet. It was crazy. So Juan is unable to make it, but all the other husbands, slowly trickle in. First it was Chris, Monique's husband, and then it was Wendy's husband. So they all eventually show up. So this is the day that the stuff really hits the fan between Monique and Candace. Well, not really. It splatters on the fan, not really hits it. So this is okay. So let's see, where are we here? So they're all in the kitchen. All the girls are in the kitchen, and Monique expresses the issues that she had with Ashley, Giselle, and Candace having a little side conversation. So she was like, that was really messed up of y'all to do that, because I'm trying to have this come together moment. Get all the girls together to make s'mores and all of this, and y'all are having little side conversations in my own house, and they were trying to let her know, like, it's not that big of a deal. We had something really important to talk to Ashley about, and we just didn't want to do it in front of the other girls. And Monique's whole point is that, well, why didn't you just give me a heads up? Instead of, I guess she didn't want to be lied to. They could have just and I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't pull Monique to the side and just say, there's something that came up. We need to have a very private conversation with Ashley. I hope you don't mind. We're not trying to distance ourselves or separate ourselves from the rest of the group, but we really do need to talk to her. I don't know why they just didn't do that, instead of this whole thing of, oh girl, we're planning something for you, go back outside. So I kind of understand why she got upset. It didn't have to be to this level. Just be like, well, y'all could have given me a heads up. That was kind of wrong that y'all are going to kick the host out of her own house to have a private conversation. But they really should have given her a heads up. But then Monique, calmed down. So, okay. So then, it starts off in the kitchen. They're having a conversation about that. All the husbands arrive and everything. And then the girls go to the back, and the issue comes up again. Karen mentions how she really would like to have a fire pit similar to Monique's in her own backyard. So the whole thing about fire pit triggers Monique again, because she brings it up again, how it was really messed up that, those three girls were having a private conversation, and she's trying to do this whole thing with the s'mores. And and then it turns into, then it turns into Monique attacking Candace for being messy and saying that, here we go again. You are involved in talking about other people's marriage, because of course Candace is somewhat involved with the downfall or with the rumors surrounding Monique's marriage, regarding Monique being unfaithful to Chris, because the information came from Charisse, and Candace and Charisse are friends. So Monique is like, okay, here you go again. You're getting yourself involved in other people's marriages. And so, you're being really messy, and you just need to stay out of it. Just stay out of it. And, Candace, I think, tried to defend herself, like this is something that really needed to be talked about. She wasn't being messy. She was trying to be a friend, to let Ashley know, the what's up with her husband. Let me read my notes, because Monique, okay, about Michael. Oh, yeah. And Monique was also kind of like, because in the kitchen, when they were still in the kitchen, when Monique was like, that was really wrong of y'all to have these side conversations when I'm trying to plan something in the backyard. And then Ashley basically told everybody, well, this is what they were telling me. And I guess she was just trying to let Monique know that they wanted to talk to me in private for some really serious issues, really serious topic. So Ashley reveals to everybody else what they all talked about. And she says, how Candace came to her with some information about her husband. And Monique was like, well, here we go again. Why can't Michael just behave? This is the repeat of last year. And so Monique was really, really, really triggered by all of this. And obviously it's kind of like bringing up all the rumors that were going on with her and her husband. So when they're in the backyard talking about this, Candace and Monique are going at it hard. And, Monique is basically like, calling Candace messy and, talking about other people's marriages and all of this and that. So then Candace is like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to argue with you. This is stupid. I'm not going to argue with you. So Candace gets up to leave. Now, when she leaves, we're left with Robin, Wendy, and Monique. And Robin and Wendy are trying to tell Monique, like, okay, we don't understand. You know, why weren't you bringing this kind of heat to Ashley and Giselle? You're bringing all of this heat just to Candace. And Monique says, well, I already addressed Ashley in the kitchen and Giselle isn't here. So what are y'all talking about? And so they're trying to let her know, like, you're kind of going overboard. It's not that big of a deal. Are you really going to get this upset because they missed out on making s'mores? You know, get over it. And of course, Monique is just triggered on some other issues. And so then I think it was Wendy that said that something about, you know, Candace is coming from a good place. You know, she's trying to coming from a good place, you know, to kind of, you know, let Ashley know what's going on. And Monique looked at her and she was like, okay, you're stupid if you believe that. Of course, Monique does not believe that Candace and Giselle are coming from a good place when they told Ashley about this. And I don't believe it either. I don't think that Giselle and Candace are coming from a good place. And Monique has said something about, you know, not everything you hear has to be brought out. Basically, I took that for her saying not everything you hear has to be put on camera. So she says, you know, people talk about all of us. People have speculations and rumors and gossip about all of us. You can't bring out every little thing that you hear. So then, but there was no calming her down. So, but I myself, I don't believe that they're coming from a good place. I think that they got a hold firsthand knowledge of some really juicy information and they couldn't wait to blast it. And I think that, I really do think that there is, anyways, before I do my little conclusion. So all the guys arrive, they play games. Now, by this time, because of the argument between Monique and Candace don't see it for each other at all. In fact, I thought Candace was leaving, but she was just getting their bags, packing up her suitcase. She didn't leave. So they're playing games with the husbands. There's obvious tension between Monique and Candace. And after all of that, now, someone had brought up a good point. When they were playing, the games that they were playing with their husbands was the husbands were going to imitate their wives. So when it was Chris's turn, Monique's Chris, when it was his turn to come up there and imitate Monique, he had this huge, gigantic wine bottle. And he looks at it, he turns it, I guess he's pretending to be Monique. He looks at it, turns it around, and he goes, oh, I'm just playing. And I didn't get it at first. I'm that dense. I really didn't understand what was going on until one of the girls had said that that's funny how when Chris imitates his wife, he chooses like a sexual situation to imitate. Something about how acting like Monique was going, you know, like trying to imply that Monique doesn't satisfy him or doesn't satisfy his needs, like, you know, her acting like she's about to give him fellatio, but then she changes her mind and doesn't do it. And I was like, that's odd and that's crass and that's not cute. And I wonder why he did that. That tells me that there are some serious issues between Monique and Chris. I think these rumors hit him hard because he probably sees himself as very successful, gives a great life, a wonderful life to his wife and his children. He worked extremely hard, I guess, when he was a professional football player, and he probably still works extremely hard now with whatever he's doing post NFL. And for rumors to come out that his wife is possibly cheating on him, probably, and then he probably thinks, you know, me being an athlete, I kept my nose clean. All those years that we were married, I kept my nose clean. There were no rumors of me doing anything, not having a whole bunch of outside children, not fooling around with strippers and hookers and whoever else and side pieces, you know. And for it to come to where there's rumors about you cheating on me and I'm doing all this for you. I mean, Chris is bothered. He's really bothered. These rumors hit him hard. I don't know if he really I don't know what's going on. And then he probably also thinks, you know, I had to pick sides between my mother and my wife, you know. until the two of them made up. So Chris is bothered. He's really bothered. I need him to talk about it. I need him to express his feelings and what's really going on in his head. So when everybody comes out and they sing happy birthday, this may be before or after the games, I don't know, I'm all out of sequence here. When they come out to sing happy birthday to Monique, Candace is noticeably absent. And somebody asked, where's Candace? And Monique said, oh, she's probably leaving. And then boom, she pops up out of nowhere and she's like, no, I'm not. Here I am. So she didn't sing happy birthday to her. And while they're all eating, Wendy, we get a little bit more insight on Wendy and her background. So she talks about how her and her husband met. I forgot his name. And they also talk about the fact that their families just don't get along at all. Wendy's mom and her family, I guess they're the only ones that really come around and have anything to do with the children, whereas his family they don't see them, they don't see the kids, they don't have a relationship with the children, nothing. And it's because of the fact that Wendy's mom and her husband's mom were bickering about something, years ago, and they never got past it. So when the kids got married to each other, they still didn't have anything to do with each other. And it was so bad that at their wedding, her husband's mom had told her friends and her family that if anybody even thinks about going to this wedding, you can forget about being friends with me. And it was that bad. So nobody from his side, it seems like, even came to the wedding. And the fact that they're not even willing to have a relationship with the children, it's like really bad. And it's all because I didn't even understand what it was about, how it started. Something about Wendy said that in their community, in their Nigerian community, her mom is like a chief and his mom had a problem with that or something. And so they just don't see it for each other at all. So when everybody does leave on day 3, everybody gets ready to leave and everybody says their goodbyes. Monique says goodbye to everybody. Now, when it comes time for Candace to leave, Monique is going to pretend that she's dead asleep. So, okay. Whew. So 24 hours later, we see Ashley talking to her husband, and Ashley says that her and her husband discussed it, the situation, the rumors that she heard, that her and Michael talked about it. And Michael said that he did go to the strip club and that he says that there was a woman that was very touchy-feely with him. And Ashley said that she knew that Michael wasn't telling her the full story because he said that he really regretted doing something, but he didn't really say what it was that he did, because it's got to be more than a woman being touchy-feely with you. And then soon after that, the blogs are burning up with pictures of Michael in a hotel room, just in his underwear, in somebody's hotel room, supposedly with some woman. And yeah. And so now we're going to have to go down this road again. So that's a lot. Let's talk about first Candace and Giselle bringing this news to Ashley. I think that it's great that they told her, that they gave her a heads up instead of the news coming out and she's blindsided by it. So they gave her a heads up for her to give her a chance to get herself together, figure out how she's going to present herself in public, and also how she's going to deal with her husband. So that's good that they told her. But I do think that they were coming from a not so good place when they told her. Because I don't know why they couldn't have done it off camera. Something that serious. I mean, it's going to end up on camera anyway, but I think that it should be Ashley that makes that decision if she wants it on the show. But for them to tell her on camera like that, it wasn't good. And I guess Ashley is so used to Michael's shenanigans that when she gets news like this, she already knows how to act. She's already braced herself. She already knows, I'm not going to give them too much because I've been down this road before and I can't give them too much. I can't let them see too much of what's going on in here. And so she did keep up a really brave face, but you can't help but feel sorry for her, with her being a new mother, her husband acting all crazy and stupid and making the same mistakes over and over again. So I don't think they came from a good place. And also I think that Candace, I think there's some jealousy there with Ashley. I don't know exactly what. I don't know if it's because Ashley is so much richer than she is. Ashley has the baby, made up her mom. I don't know what it is, but I do feel that there is some jealousy between Candace and Ashley, and it's more so coming from Candace. And so that's one thing. Now, another thing that I want to discuss is Michael. Like, how stupid can you be? You are on a television show and you saw what your wife went through when you were misbehaving before, and you're doing it all over again. I mean, come on, Michael. So I just like, he's so stupid. Ashley, please, girl, divorce this man simply on the basis of being stupid. Let this man go, please. Supposedly, I think I saw on some website or something that supposedly she's pregnant again. Okay, girl, you got your 2 kids. Let it go. Let it go. And I don't know if she signed a prenup. I think she did. I think not only did she sign a prenup, I think she signed a revised prenup. I think he revised it to make sure that she really had nothing if they got divorced. And now maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's like, okay, I'm not going to get alimony or whatever, or parts of the businesses, but I got these 2 kids. And so maybe that's what she's banking. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just like, how can we go through this all over again? Just how? And even if they have a thing, you know, her and her husband have a thing where, you know, you can go and be with strippers, which I know that can't be it, because she said that she didn't want him going to strip clubs. But if they have an understanding where they can fool around with other people or whatever, then when this kind of news comes to you, Ashley, why don't you lead with that? Why don't you say, oh yeah, okay, that's fine, because we have an understanding, we have an open marriage, or we allow each other to fool around with other people. Yeah, okay, so you went to a strip club, and okay, that's fine. That's what we do. You know, at least something like that, if that's what y'all do. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I really wonder. I've always wondered if Ashley really did love him. I've always wondered that. Ever since I first saw her on the show, I've always wondered that. And maybe he feels like maybe she really doesn't love him. And so that's why he does what he does. Because, you know, maybe she really doesn't love him. And so he's like, you know, you don't really love me, so I'm going to go find love and affection somewhere else. I have no idea what's happening here. But I just can't believe that someone will do the same thing again. And then, I don't know. But I'm tired of it. I cannot do this again. I cannot do a repeat of last season, last year. I can't do it. I can't do another repeat of that. So that's where my review ends. Michael is stupid. I do believe that Candace is jealous. And I kind of believe that Monique probably did cheat on Chris. And we'll see if I can be proven wrong later on in the season. Thank you for joining me, and come back next time. Bye.